chance to talk since the exemption for the transfer came to pass. Just your thoughts and how helpful can that be for you in assessing your roster and potentially adding more people over the summer?
Yeah, it's interesting to be able to have the ability to bring in players now and have the immediate eligibility. That's one thing. I think it just adds another layer to the recruiting process that we already have. You know, it's I don't think we know the effects of it. You look at guys that are more developed and have played at the college level. That's one thing. So just from a player standpoint, but the high school players are still extremely important, and recruiting to where, you know, as you think about your team, you lose a quarter of your team, you bring a quarter of your team in. You still got to manage the numbers at positions. You still got to manage how many you're going to lose when guys graduate. So you got to be careful of stacking and having too many in the same class. And so I think it just adds another layer to the process. It's interesting. Everybody's working through it now. We've already had transfers. Transfers are not something new. It's just that they're going to be immediately eligible. What does that mean? How does that help your roster? How does that hurt your roster if guys leave and go to other places, other opportunities? And that's the question that we all have right now. But you're able to address some immediate needs of guys that can come in and play, that you know can play. You've seen them play at this level, and can help you. It's just every program's going to have their own philosophy on how many transfers they take, and what that looks like with their high school recruiting and the guys they want to bring in, you know, that are new players, that are high school players. And, you know, I don't have an answer for that for us right now as we're working through it, but it's certainly something that portal's interesting every day. You know, you see that there's new guys in it, and I just think the one thing too, just overall, you gotta, as a player, really, you got to think about, you know, when you make that decision to enter the portal, what does that mean? And there's probably more guys. I know there's more guys in the portal than there are opportunities. And so, is that going to lead you to an opportunity that you want, or is that going to put you in a different position? Everybody's leaving for different reasons. So it's interesting. I think we'll know. You know, give us a year, a couple years into it. What does that look like? And how many teams take advantage of that? You know, are they portal teams? Are going to use that primarily, or are they still going to be focusing on the high school players they're trying to bring into their programs?
Coach, when you signed on the dotted line to be the head coach here, the Auburn fans, I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, but what have you seen in these last couple months and doing things like this today? What does that mean to you to kind of interact with the fans here in Birmingham?
Well, this is great that we had a chance to actually interact with people and be around them and see them face to face. I've done a lot of Zooms, which has been good. As far as the experience for myself, my family, we've been very welcome, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that my family's been welcomed by the Auburn community. I appreciate that our coaches' families have been welcomed. That's really stood out. So like that Auburn family, you know, people use that word, I think it's overused quite often, but you feel that, so I've appreciated that. Our families have adjusted well. I think all families now are in their homes, or at least somewhat close, and which is good for our staff, right? It lets our staff focus, lets our staff get on the things they need to focus on. So all that's been good. You know, the thing now, we get a chance to see people and do events like this and get out in front of people personally. You know, I think that's a huge part of building those relationships and making the connections. And June's going to be a big month for that too. You get to bring people on campus, new families, players. We're going to have a chance to be able to get face to face. I think it's just it's a whole nother layer that we're all used to that we haven't done in a while. And I think it's refreshing to be able to have a chance to do these things and to be able to see people and just really get face to face and build those relationships, because that's where your connection happens. Is this a right fit? Is this going to be a good thing for both sides? And these events allow us to do that, and certainly what's going to happen in June is going to allow us to do that.
Bryan, with regards to NIL, obviously the governor of Alabama signed along to that.
Yeah.
NCAA is discussing what they want to do. Have you guys had any discussions about how you're going to approach it with players, educate them about any brand marketing opportunities or anything like that?
Yeah, we've had discussions. I still think that one's so new. You know, right now we're in that idea phase, right? What is this? You know, what are some of the ideas? What does this really look like? What does it mean? And to my understanding, in different states, it could mean something a little bit different, right? and I haven't gotten to how everybody in their state, how it's all viewed at this point. And I'll look into that, but it's an interesting. I think the concept, everybody understands that, what it's for, and I think that's a thing that we all got to be ready and prepared to utilize in our programs. But we don't have a concrete set plan right now. I don't really think that this is something that you have one necessarily, because I think every situation and your players, everything's different. Every year's different. Who does it pertain to? And to me, it's more understanding, what are some of the things that you can use it for? How do you do it? What are the things that we're actually able to do as a coaching staff and a university? And then, how do we maximize that for the players? And at the same time, the players too, how do they stay focused on the things they've got to really be focused on, right? Hard work, coming in, learning a new system, developing themselves in the culture, preparing themselves to actually go play and still stay focused on that. Their education, there's a lot of work. I mean, just you start adding into, you look at an athlete's day and the work they put in and the focus necessary to be successful. This is another layer on top of that. It's just got to be managed properly. And I don't have an answer for that necessarily right now, but it's something that we're talking about. And I think that's got to be something the players are involved in too. Once this thing is full go, I always believe the players are a big part of that. They're going to give you a lot of really good opinions and thoughts and ideas, and some guys are going to have ways that they feel like this is going to benefit us the most and still achieve the things that we all want to achieve. And to me, that's going to have to take just conversations and the players involved in that too.
Right, Charles Barkley last week called you courageous for coming down with Alabama to coach Auburn.
Yeah.
Do you feel courageous?
Well, let me say that I'm laughing only because I got a chance to golf with him. Which one is he's very good. Unbelievable just personality in a good way. I mean, it was, I'm not a golfer, and I've never had anybody ever watch me, other people besides the people I'm with. We had people following us around there, and he made it so enjoyable. He and Bo, they were awesome, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate his comments. I heard those things, and it's just, I think, and I've answered this before. It's more about the challenge. I felt strongly about Auburn and the potential to come in here and be the head coach and to put together a staff and to be able to bring players in to do the things that we believe to be successful. And all the teams we play are good. Everybody's good. And I know what he's saying about Alabama and the type of program they have and how successful they've been. And they're right here in the state. There's no denying that. And so, that's just another part of the challenge that we have at Auburn. And I think that's something that everybody in this conference, we have great teams, we have great coaches, great players. Alabama's been the team. They've done a great job. And so, we got a lot that we have to do at Auburn in order for us to be successful and do the things we want to do. And so, but I appreciate that. To me, it's, you come to a place like this, you come to a conference like this because you're competitive and you want to play the best teams. And the very best team that proved that again last year was Alabama. So you got that challenge ahead of you as well. And I don't think that's anything that we don't understand. We just got a lot of work to put ourselves in a position to go out there and compete and play at that level. And we all want to be in that position. Now it's just, we got to be focused on that. We got to do it every day in order to actually make that happen.
Last one. Anyone? Good? All right.
Thanks,
All right.
Coach.